What? Hey, it's Matthew here. I'm back. I wanted to talk a little bit about something I had mentioned in one of my other videos, or maybe both of them. But it was about a very instinctual, kind of innate response that we have to most things that come at us. Stimulants, if you will, or stimuli. I like to go a little Latin there. But it's about how we're responding, which leads to what psychology has described and a lot of other ways of studying human behavior have described as the fight or flight, and more recently, over the last couple decades, the freeze response. I mentioned it as the F3, right? The fight, the flight, and the freeze response. So with that being said, that F3, and I said the last video I talked about it, giving it the FU, stating that I want to restate a little bit around what that FU is about, which is the element of not getting rid of those survival, instinctual, automatic reactions to stimuli, specifically threats, but that also get us to live, that get us to eat, that get us to procreate, that get us to breathe, that push us to stay alive and to survive. And that's what we've done. We've survived. We're also at a state where we need to reach other levels of evolution, to evolve with more efficiency. We have been trapped in certain patterns, which I understand those patterns have established us to get to where we are today. Yet I want to get more into that fight, flight, freeze tendency that takes us, that captures us, that almost captivates us so much that we're entrapped in that pattern of the F3. So I'm gonna really do some videos. I wanna bring some messages around how to recognize that and manage it, which ties right into the PIP. How do we get to that presence within ourselves to respond without the just immediate acquiescence, that impulse? Again, it's so hard to manage, yet to raise our awareness around it, to it, with it, so we can establish a sense of presence and really embrace the PIP, the power in presence that we have within us. So I often come down under our heads, below our necks, to come to the other parts of us, so we less rely on our mental capacity, because we're so much more. While I'm not denying the importance of our thinking, of our cognitive faculties, undeniably important, yet the other parts of us, the whole parts of us, wholeness, the wholeness to wellness, to which I really subscribe to in what I'm trying to do for myself, to try to do with you, to try to do for all of us, is a wholeness approach to healing, to living, and to get beyond surviving to thriving, so we can flourish, so we can go and reach other levels of existence. Hence what I've spoken about with the exist as soulful essence, ease. But what I've repeated is it ain't easy, and it's not going to be easy, but it is, and it can be real. It is real, the power in presence. Also recognizing that F3 is almost the automatic response to the pop, the purpose of pain, the reaction to keep alive, to stay in survival mode. Yet, let us realize today in 2025 that we are beyond that. So considering what our options are when we are impacted by an external stimuli that also attaches to one of these internal ones that we often we've attached to as like stories from our past. And when I say the past, I'm talking not even just our own individual lives, pasts, but the past of humanity and what we've developed and evolved from. Even Adam, and before that, amoeba, pre-Big Bang. I don't care, go as far back as we gotta go, because I'm going there if we need to. But bringing it back to the now, the present, hence the power in presence. So I'm gonna reiterate the importance of recognizing the F3 response, again, as an important, significant reaction to something that triggers our systems. When we've learned to live at a certain homeostasis, we can be so edgy. Hence why we have and are so overwhelmed in the day and age with quote unquote anxiety disorders. Very common. It's almost like they're not really disorders. They're just how we are as people today. When we're not connected to ourselves, when we're not present to ourselves. And when I say ourselves, our full self, our whole self, mind, body, heart, soul, all of it. So I'm going to be putting together a little bit of a collection here to get more into the fight, flight, freeze responses, to then consider how we can manage those. It's almost like we have to develop those internal checks to manage them, to slow them down, to even understand that we're doing it. Even if we start it, the pull back from that impulse. I understand it's an automatic one, it's an innate one, it's kept us alive for hundreds of thousands of years, surviving, somewhat evolving. But it's time now to reach other levels of evolution in this massive spectrum of what we are as human beings being human. Let's go. The part I want to look at briefly before I extend it into further sessions or meetings or videos is right now working to understand and recognize when we go into that fight or that flee or that freeze. Because I'm going to definitely break down more of that freeze as well as the fight and flight, but really consider how we almost stay in those cycles, repeating them automatically without strong consideration of what am I doing? I'm automatically already there. Let's go there, okay, but pull back. The power and presence. Come on back home, come on back. Breathing. We're going to work on breathing. That's going to be a very strong element to the process of Pip and responding to the pop so that we can be so much more for ourselves, for others, for all. So considering how the F3 hits us, paying attention, picking up on that. Am I fighting? Am I fleeing? Am I freezing? Again, look at the behaviors, look at the reactions while you're in them, and see what you can do to pull away. Come back to the deeper present self with a breath, with a moment, with many breaths perhaps, but it starts with one. The other element to consider is that I want to look at is how that F3 can be managed by the FU, which is just to pause a bit, to pull back and recognize it. FU, I'm not saying get rid of all that instinctual, innate, reactive, impulsive tendency to handle stuff in life. Not saying that. I'm saying how we can manage it, how we can alter it to be more present to the power within all of us. So considering that and looking at the next three things I want to talk about, which tie into from the F3 to the FU. I've given the bird on that one before. Don't have to do that again, but an option for that for sure. But not FU in sense, get rid of all that. No, we can't. It's part of us. Yet managing it so we can go to, all right, I'm not going to stay in there. I'm going to come back to self, and then I'm going to respond with, I'm facing it. F1, face. I'm facing it. I'm retreating. I'm retrieving from the purpose of this pain, the pop. I'm retrieving from the purpose of this moment of why I automatically went to the F3. So I consider and come back to just face it. F1. So I can find myself in it. F1 to then free myself from those tendencies and patterns to just explosively go right into the impulse to survive. We'll be alive, we'll stay alive, and we'll keep going. Yet we can do it way more effectively, way more fully, and much more lovingly. So we're going for it. Thank you. More to follow around the F3 response to the FU, to take it to an FU, to get to the F1 face, F1, F1 find, and F1 free.